Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fan.
Good morning, everybody. It's a Tuesday morning, June 18th, 2024. Just a regular Tuesday morning. We're here in the Java Cafe. We have a special guest this morning, and I'm elated to bring her in to be the first one to chat with her. Just about a little something that happened last night in relationship to that metallic there. I would like to, and you all are going to holler when you see what our governor is wearing. I am so excited to have her here. I did not want to get in trouble. Her team has looked out to get her back. I did not want to get in trouble. Jimmy, when am I coming back? Well, she's back. And there's a lot to say today. And so we're not going to waste her time. We're going to go ahead and bring in Her Excellency. Hi, Governor.
Why are you laughing at me?
I'm not laughing. I just, when you popped in the screen, I said, oh. And
isn't it a great day?
Whatever it takes to make it a great day, Governor. Where were you? First of all, good morning. How are you? Good to see you.
It's great to see you. I'm awesome.
Now
I'm a little hoarse from all the cheering. It's a great day, Jimmy. I mean, I grew up on the Celtics. This team means a lot, and they worked so hard all year, and it's just a great thing. Them winning Banner 18. It's just awesome. And you know what I love about it, Jimmy, too? It's like you can't even pick. I mean, like Jalen gets the MVP, right? I get that. But also, you didn't really know who was going to get the MVP. Like this was such a team win. And, in government, I've talked with you a lot. It's about the team, right? People in government, outside of government, people working together, business community, not-for-profits, everybody working together, team. And like this team just represents the very best. I mean, different people stepping up in different moments. It's awesome. So I am great.
I am glad to hear you are great. And Governor, we have to name, you are a basketball governor. Let's just keep it 100. And so I think we've discussed before how that team approach transcends, into your administration. And so it is, we talk about the city of champions, but this city of Boston is here in the state of what?
Massachusetts.
And so, Governor, we have the win. We're in Pride Month. I understand you're going to drop.
By the way, basketball invented where?
Here in Massachusetts. Out in Springfield, correct?
Yes.
Where the Hall of Fame is. And so, I mean, whatever. And let me just show you're not the only one that came in with swag this morning. Shout out to Miss Teresa. We got tumblers and everything and cups. And so
Parade Friday.
Amazing. Parade is on Friday, and shout out to the mayor and those that really made, I believe, a conscious decision, skip the heat wave and made sure that it's on Friday. And it is a Friday going into the weekend. Let me just chime in, Governor, real quick, where you have the opportunity. What is the expected cadence that you have of folks? This is a family event. Can you just let folks know what the expectations are from your purview of coming to the parade? And then we're going to jump into the business, talk about Pride. You are our first elected gay governor, and Go ahead, Governor. I'm going to shut up. Yes, parade, and let's jump into some business.
It's a great month. It's a great time. Pride, a lot going on. Juneteenth. And tomorrow we'll
Absolutely.
celebrate once again. It was great to be in Hyde Park and Franklin Park over the weekend. But the parade, yeah, it's going to be a hot week. People need to hydrate. They need to look after people, check in, particularly on our elders, just make sure people are hydrating. There's cooling stations, I know, throughout the city. Parade's going to be Friday, 11. We encourage people, Jimmy, take public transportation
Yes.
and be smart. Let's celebrate our team. They deserve a joyous celebration, a safe celebration. 11 o'clock is when the parade starts. I know people will be gathering long before that.
Yeah.
Schools are going to be out. So, I expect we'll see a lot of kids in. And
This
it's going to be awesome.
It is going to be amazing. And so, Governor, if I can go in the line of chronologically, as far as the celebrations and things, we had the parade. Let's talk about Pride. Massachusetts is blessed in general. We're a very liberal state, first state to legalize gay marriage. You are our first openly elected gay governor. And we had the Pride, parade a couple of weeks ago. And so where are you with Pride and what's going on? Wow, so much in this country.
Well, so much of this country is right. And we've got to be strong here in Massachusetts. We've got to protect equality. We've got to protect freedoms, the freedom to love who you want, the freedom to be able to make healthcare decisions for yourself, the freedom to vote, the freedom to read books and not have them banned, right? So there's a lot of struggles right now when you look at the national picture. And, we've got a Supreme Court that, is now was packed by Trump with his appointees. They're looking to they took away affirmative action. They want to take away DEI. They want to write Black history out of American history books. To me, Jimmy, it just means we need to be strong in Massachusetts. We need to be clear. We need to continue to fight for freedoms, for equality, for equal treatment under the law, eliminate disparities that we see, particularly along race, particularly on so many lines, whether you're talking housing or healthcare, employment. So to me, it's about just affirming. We celebrate Pride this month. It's a celebration, Jimmy, but to me, it's also a call for action, right?
Yes, ma'am.
To continue to stay in the fight, and it's just really important. And the biggest thing is to vote. The biggest thing is to vote.
Yes, ma'am. We can't take things for granted here in Massachusetts. I was so surprised during the last presidential election cycle, a couple where in Dorchester and different places, little pockets, you do see support for he who used to occupy the White House. So absolutely. For Juneteenth, you talked about Hyde Park, the Davis system. Anthony and Aaron were there. They emceed, and also you went to Franklin Park. Senator Ed Markey will be coming on soon. We understand this is a federal holiday. There was no contest. I know you were not in. Were you in office when this was legislated?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I was Attorney General.
That was under your, okay. Well, Attorney General, but not governor, but still influence there to help it go through as far as the legal way of making it legal in Massachusetts. In the spirit of Juneteenth, the celebration of culture, we're launching a show tonight called Black Java because, as you know, some of our major media outlets, they're going through downsizing, and the program, as you know, used to be Say Brother. Now, Basic Black, is gone. And so the voice of the Black community, the culture, how important is it that we raise that? You talk about equity in the context of Pride.
Man, it's so important. And I get distressed. Massachusetts, we're home to the first newspaper in the country. First school, first library, first park, first newspaper. Community-based reporting is so, so important. And unfortunately, we've seen these big media conglomerates come in, buy up papers, buy up stations. So I love what you're doing. I totally support it. People need to be able to share stories, uplift stories. If we want a representative government, we've got to have representation across the board, right? And including in when it comes to media and the opportunities we make available. So I love what you're doing. And I too am distressed when I see these programs going away.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And in that's one of the things in the spirit of Juneteenth, Black voices, and so much happened in 2020. It is just amazing. City Councilor Julie Mejia just acknowledged it's been 4 years that this has been, 3 years, I believe, a legal holiday. So it is amazing. It's Juneteenth, Black History Month, Women's History Month, Pride Month, every day. For
Yeah,
many of
it
us.
should be every day. I think, I've spent a lot of time talking to young people about Juneteenth because I just think it's really important that in fact, I have books, great books the other day. I got it Juneteenth for kids, Juneteenth.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, everybody's got to know our history, our collective history, and what this what this month and what Juneteenth is about, which again to me is celebration and also a call to action,
Across
and
across the
we're
board.
really focused on this. I mean, we're taking on healthcare disparities, Jimmy, in my administration. We're taking on reforms to the criminal justice system, including issuing new clemency guidelines. I pardoned as governor people for the first time that in any time that a governor's done that. So many pardons just in the first term. We're working on employment and jobs. We're just funding a program at Roxbury Community College to prepare
We're
a
getting okay.
workforce for climate.
We're going to get into the business.
We got work to do.
Yes, ma'am. And let's get into the business. One note, this is a community-based platform. And I'm aware of a situation that our wonderful April English is working on for us. And so any support, and she knows what that is, clemency for someone from the Bennett family that has really came out and went into aspects of law enforcement. And so she's been supporting, trying to get that there. So thank you. And any support you could give to that brother would be much appreciated. Juneteenth, Pride. What else? Holiday in June. I think that is it. Of course, the Celtics winning. So let's jump into the business. We'll save the announcement after. You just mentioned that there was $1.3 million just invested at RCC. And so please tell us about the intentionality of that investment. We were talking about equity, and that's when you brought it up. So feel free to touch on the equity there too. And go ahead, do you?
So here's what I want people to know. We've done a couple things this year. If you are 25 years old or older, you can go to Roxbury Community College, Bunker Hill Community College, any community college for free. For free. So we've seen people going back to school or going to school, which is really great. And the other thing we're making investments in is we've lowered, is we're giving funds directly to schools like RCC so that they can stand up programs that will train students in jobs related to climate. I've said, Jimmy, I want Massachusetts. We're a global hub for life sciences. Looks like hopefully something new expanding in Nubian Square in life sciences. Awesome.
Yes.
We also can create and make Boston and Massachusetts a global hub for climate technology.
Absolutely.
Climate technology. But we need the electricians and the HVAC workers and the other people, 34,000 jobs out there. We need to train a workforce. So we gave $1.5 million about to RCC to stand up a program so that people can come, get enrolled, get trained, and they will be set up in great paying careers for themselves and their families. So, this is all about economic growth, economic mobility, economic opportunity. That's what our administration is about. Key to that, though, Jimmy, I will say, and you probably had me touch on this, housing. It's the number one priority for our state. Rents are too high. People can't afford housing. People are getting squeezed out. I don't want to see them moving or leaving the state. So we filed a big piece of legislation, Jimmy, to get funding for more development. Clean up public housing. We've got a lot of units that are just sitting there vacant that need to be rehabbed and made livable. We've got to build more affordable housing, and we just need more housing generally. So big focus for our administration.
Governor, if I could chime in there, similar to when the mayor comes on and when folks find out you're coming on, I get unsolicited suggestions which I should talk about, topics I should talk to you about. And my filter is if it's coming from different pockets, different walks of life, and there's a synergy between the message. And one of the synergies I've seen in my inbox and on social media is when you talk about housing, there was a perception, and perception is everything to some. There was an experience of many that felt that, and we're getting ready to talk about the cash. You're going to make an announcement about something happening this week. Wow, there's a lot going on this weekend. You said it's a hot week, literally and figuratively. There was a sentiment of some that they didn't feel urgency as residents with what was going on, with making sure that those that were migrated here, some against their will, not intentionally, with that sensitivity to that emergency assistance, there's some that had the experience that they didn't get the expeditious process of support. How would you answer them? How would you either clarify for them, validate their experience? What I wanted to offer an opportunity to give that balance
Appreciate
of
that.
what. Yes, ma'am.
So let me just give a little bit of the background about how we got here. I mean, we've got people living in this world in desperate situations. If you look at the situation in Haiti, gang violence, gun violence, it's terrible what people are subjected to. And it's happening in other places in the world. And what's happened, Jimmy, is that people are migrating to the United States. They're bringing their families, oftentimes young kids, in tow because they're just searching to stay safe, to stay alive, and create opportunity for their families. We have seen large numbers come to Massachusetts. I talk to other governors, they're coming to other states as well. A broken immigration system is part of the problem.
Yes, ma'am.
And Republicans in Congress have stopped action because Donald Trump said, I don't want any deal on immigration. So there hasn't been a deal. So that's terrible because we're not getting the federal support that we need. But here's what's happened in Massachusetts. And I understand people's frustration. It's a challenge. We had a housing crisis to begin with. We didn't have enough housing to begin with. We're down probably a couple 100,000 housing units statewide. We have something called emergency shelter, Jimmy, which is a law that I'm required to
Yes.
uphold and
Yeah.
enforce.
Yeah.
It requires us to house people when they're unhoused. Now, about half the people in that shelter system are Massachusetts families, okay? Born, grew up here, came on hard times. They're in the shelter system. The other half are these immigrant families, these new arrivals, migrant families. So it's put a strain on things. Now, I need people to understand, we've worked really hard as a state to secure housing for them, for everybody in our shelter system. I've also been really clear that we can't continue to take numbers. We can't continue to take the numbers that we've been seeing. So that's why I imposed a cap last fall, and that's why we're working to reduce the numbers. But we've got 90 communities around the state that have been impacted where we've had to place families. I'm grateful to the service providers and to those communities who've really stepped up in a lot of ways. The good news, Jimmy, is that my administration was able to work with the Biden administration in getting work authorizations. So the 4,000 people, about 4,000 people have been processed for work authorizations. And that means they're getting jobs. They're working in hospitality, in hotels, in factories where we need workers. So that's the good news, okay?
Yes.
But underlying it all is broken immigration system, and also Massachusetts, we need more housing.
Yes, ma'am.
I had to open up, the CAS was a facility that we opened up. It's a DCR property, it's state owned. And, it was probably the 7th or 8th place that we opened. We opened in other places around the state
Yes.
before we came to Roxbury. But we've got a lot of people coming to Boston. We've got a huge Haitian population. That's what it brings people here to Massachusetts in the first place. And I needed to find somewhere to house people so they weren't sleeping on the common or
in the airport.
Yep. So I basically, it was, here's how we tried to do it. We tried to set it up with the community, have local vendors, staff, and get paid for everything from cleaning services to food. And I promised people that I would be out, by the end of May. And we were. And this Saturday, we
It's Saturday, not Friday. Sorry. Yep, Saturday.
Yeah, at the CAS, we're going to celebrate the opening of the pool, because one of the things that I promised, I said, I need temporary housing. Okay. So we're going to be in here for a few months. We promise we'll be out by the end of May. We're going to staff it with local vendors. All these things we did, check. And we're going to give funds to do upgrades to the CAS, which has needed upgrades for a long time. So I thank Commissioner Arrigo and DCR for the work there. We're going to open the pool this weekend. Big party, 10 o'clock. Come on down. It'll be going all day. And we're also making upgrades to the CAS. So returning it to the community in a much better condition than it was in. But it's a challenging situation. I want to thank Senator Liz Miranda and
absolutely
Tyler and Councilor Fernandez and Mayor Wu for the collaboration on this. To get through a challenge, to get through a crisis, it takes teamwork. And so I'm excited, but I'm excited about the opening up and being able to show people that I meant what I said. I said that we'd be out. I said there'd be upgrades. We want to make the cost better than ever. But I appreciate, Jimmy, people's concern, because there's a lot of people who've been on waiting lists looking for housing for years now, right?
Yes.
And I feel I feel the urgency of that, which is why we filed this big legislation that hopefully will get passed to create more housing in Boston and around the state.
There was an acknowledgement. I don't know when they typed this, but I hope the governor address, where governor, if you can just name a couple of other places, again, being in that balance, where else in the state are they being placed outside of Boston? I mean, in the media, it's been, there've been pretty much good reception, but the media has also captured that folks may have not been accepting. And so it's been in the media in these other places that the governor has placed these 4,000 families. And so, Governor, we've covered the business, we've covered the celebration, and I move in a space of equity, health, addressing inequities and whatnot. And every time we talk, either face to face or on the show, somehow we get to a space of you just speaking to the humanity of people. I think last in December when we talked, that was a time where one of our elected officials was being targeted and going through a lot, and you kind of volunteered just this sort of humanity piece. And so I wanted to allow space. We're just about at time. Shout out to your team, to Valentina and those that made this happen. Yes. What is it that you would say to humanity? We're going into the summer. Things have been interesting locally here. I've also seen in other parts of the state violence. What is it that you would say around going into the summer, protecting rights, equity, any and everything, addressing our humanity?
I went to the Vatican recently. I was invited by the Pope to talk about climate and our leadership in climate. I gave a keynote. One of the things that Pope Francis talks about is our common home, our common humanity. And I was really struck by that, Jim. And I just say that because people are struggling right now. I know, they're struggling with housing. They're struggling with addiction. They're struggling with mental health. They're struggling with a world where there's so much, it seems at times, hate and vitriol and people looking to divide us. We just got to be strong, and we got to protect one another, take care of each other, love one another. We're an administration that's trying to work in partnership, to lift people up, to address some disparities, to address inequities. I mentioned about voting a while ago. We've got a massively huge election. People have got to get out and understand the truth and what is at stake in this national election, and the difference between a Donald Trump and a Joe Biden administration.
This is not just a person. There's varying opinions. There's what's going on in the Middle East and things like that. We're talking about humanity.
Yes, and I understand, but there's such a line between what a Donald Trump offers and what a Joe Biden offers. And Biden right now is trying to broker some peace in the Middle East. It is a terrible situation, what's happening in Gaza. My heart goes out to the Palestinians. My heart goes out to the families with Israeli hostages. It's terrible as well. And we can't tolerate anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, homophobia, racism in any form. So my message to people is be good to one another. Let's take care of one another. Let's bring people together, not tear apart. Safety this summer is important. Let's support our young people with programs, with activities. We're going to work in partnership to reduce and mitigate against violence, Jimmy, of course. And, I believe deeply in the people of Boston, the people of Massachusetts, and we're here to work.
We're here to work. And there was some work put in last night. And we could go for a couple of hours, Governor, and just chat. Maybe one of these days we can do, when the space fully opens that I'm in, and do a fireside and just really have a real heart to heart. This has been, aspect of heart to heart as well. But the work went in last night. The work must continue as far as we got the metallic in the garden, got work done, and we need also the gold and the metallic under the dome. That's there right. At the State House as well. So, Governor, thank you for being with us. I hope to see you in community soon. I'm out at Spectacle Island with the Boston Waterfront Coalition on Saturday, so I won't be able to be at the opening. And one last question. With the heat wave, I know the formal opening, and this may be, you're not in the necessarily day-to-day of DCR, but any sensitivity to maybe
yes,
this thing to pull the next couple of days with the heat wave?
Look, people got to hydrate, check in on loved ones and neighbors. Also, our splash decks are going to be open. DCR,
Okay.
all the splash decks will be open. All the swimming areas, so beaches, will be open. And we're working on trying to open as many pools as we can, Jimmy.
Okay.
Pools are staffed by lifeguards, some of whom are still in school, but it's the commissioner. We're trying to open as many pools as possible because we got to create cooling centers and just cooling spaces for as many people as possible.
Would there be any sensitivity maybe in Roxbury because there's not that much?
Absolutely.
I think it's a Hennigan. As far as today, tomorrow, and Thursday.
Yeah, we're focused on that because unfortunately, that we've got heat deserts out there,
Yeah.
and I think about Roxbury in particular. So we're working on that. I'll be talking with the commissioner in just a little bit about what additional resources we can bring in,
Governor,
and we're prioritizing those areas.
Absolutely, I never heard the term heat deserts before. So, okay, Governor, I'll get you off of here so I can stay in good with the communications team there. Thank you as always for being with us. I enjoyed your attire this morning, Her Excellency.
I enjoy you. Thanks, Jimmy.
Yes, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon, Gov.
I look forward to it.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Listen, everyone, as we have done about 3 or 4 times before, got to chat with the governor, wasn't able to cover everything in the acknowledgements. Crown, BKG, absolutely. Climate is absolutely related to health. Dr. Lucy kind of mixed in a couple of things I was seeing there to sort of address your issue in the most immediacy around programming there at the Castle Roxbury. So no commitment, but the governor did state that they're looking at that heat desert, a term I've not heard before, in reference to today, tomorrow, and Thursday. And in the vein of what the governor said, please hydrate. I'm talking to myself. I'm looking right here in this camera, and do what you can to stay cool. And yes, that is it for us today. Tomorrow morning, speaking with the Emancipator, we're actually going to take a quick commercial break to let you know what we're chatting about with the Emancipator, and also the folks that are facilitating this wonderful event that's coming up tomorrow night for Juneteenth.
What are you doing for Juneteenth? What you should do is join us for Historically Black Phrases Live. It's a trivia show based off the best-selling book by Jared Hill and Travell Anderson, and they'll be here in Boston on Wednesday, June 19th with the Emancipator and some special guests. Join us on Juneteenth at WBUR City Space for laughs, culture, and an overall good time. We'll have amazing guests such as Gullah scholar Sun Michaud, influencer Claudianne Philippe, and Boston's poet laureate Portia Olaiwola. Get your tickets now before they're sold out.
For the innovators, the dreamers, the risk takers, independent workers who keep our neighborhoods thriving, Connector Care from the Massachusetts Health Connector has plans for every lifestyle and budget.
Having access to affordable healthcare is for everyone in our community.
Connector Care plans help more people save on healthcare that covers all their needs. Find out if you qualify for Connector Care. Visit mahealthconnector.org or call 1-877-MA-ENROLL.
Hey, everyone, we're going to get ready to go. So tonight at 6 p.m., Black Java is taking place at 135 Morrissey Boulevard. I have the opportunity to speak with Kerman. It's probably Kerjan, but Kerman, I call him Free, not by his government. Brother Freeman is going to be there, and also Keithan Foster. We're speaking tonight about the music industry and also the program that they are having this summer, July 17th through 19th, the real program. It's an intensive for songwriters, producers, engineers, anyone that's serious and interested in going into the music business. This program is for you. And so this is a 21 plus event. I'm checking with the libations provider to see if they're going to stay open a little bit. Folks will come in. We'll gather at 6 o'clock at 135 Morrissey Boulevard. There's a lot going on tonight. There's a lot going on tomorrow. There's a lot going on this weekend. There's a lot going on next weekend. So be in community together. As the governor said, days like these next few days can be interesting sometimes in community. And so do our best. Nod your head and speak to someone. Smile. If you have an extra bottle of water, offer it to someone that's walking down the street that may not. And y'all know I'm a man of faith. Be prayerful. Again, experience will cause you to be a little more proactive. So let's be very cognizant of the weather, our health, hydrating, our seniors, checking on them. And I was checking on my mother last night. She was into the game and just getting it. So checking on your parents as well, others, neighbors, and see if they're good in this heat wave that's coming. That's it for me today. We'll be back tomorrow morning. And don't forget tonight, 6 p.m., 135 Morrissey Boulevard in Dorchester. Black Java, no sugar, no cream. Want to know what that means? Come out tonight at 6 o'clock. We'll see you there for Black Java with Brother Keithan and also Brother Free. That's it for me, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and we shall talk to you very, very soon.